When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can seem intense. Like breakup R&B intense.
I thought you said you loved the sweater that I got you. If you didn't, you could have told me.
Geico makes it easy. Just go to Geico.com anytime to update or check your policy without all the extra drama.
I even had a gift receipt.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bots and, well, I'm not going to say F-boys, but welcome to another episode of Brotivation Sports. This is Keith Champ Freed, and we have the First Lady of Brotivation Sports. Can you please introduce yourself to the listeners?
Hi, loves. It's Ava Fiore here, and I am amped to be on Brotivation, and I cannot wait to talk about all the subjects that we're going to talk about today.
You want to know something that's funny? I saw an old lady on the bus when I was going to UFC 200, and she said ciao, and I almost expected her to shake her tits and slap her ass. That might have blinded everyone on the bus going
oh my gosh.
to the media
You're
room.
Too much.
But yeah, that's how now I associate ciao with that.
It's so funny. It's so many people associate that. Every time, sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I know that somebody will recognize me because I'll hear them say ciao, and that's how I know. It's crazy how that word association has come so far with pasties.
Yes, indeed. So, listen, we just had a crazy weekend. I just finished the
so
crazy as of this recording. You know, they had UFC International Fight Week, which culminated with UFC 200. It was supposed to be the rematch with John Jones and Daniel Cormier, but we all know that John Jones was flagged with two, let's just say, banned substances, if you will. We've yet to discover or have been told what they were. Nonetheless, the show went off without hitch. Now, I've got a couple of emails and a couple of text messages of people that watched it on pay-per-view, and although I was in the audience, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I think my imagination was held captive by the entire weekend of everything that changed, transpired, and occurred. However, you were home and you watched it. So now, give me your take on the pay-per-view itself from the viewpoint of your ass on the couch and your eyes on the TV.
Okay, so I was not actually at this event. And it's funny because when I texted you and I told you this is the most boring UFC, you didn't reply right away. And then when you wrote back, you're like, oh, it was just, there's a lot of energy. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Because from our end, it was literally like Mark was on his the entire time. Not Mark. Silva was on his back the entire time. And then, of course, Mark was getting dominated as well. So it was just, it was boring. And then the only fight I was really looking forward to, that was like over in, I don't know how long that lasted. Yeah, literally. She just totally got overwhelmed by Amanda, and it was crazy. It was I expected actually that fight to be a better fight, but you know she got, I think, right as soon as her nose got broke, she just got stunned a little bit, and you could tell she kind of like lost her footing, couldn't get it back together, and she just got completely manhandled. I mean, she did not look like she was remotely prepared to fight her. At least fight her at her best game. And then, everything else is just really boring. I give Silva so much credit, though, for stepping in because, I don't know if this was just me because I'm here as a viewer and I wasn't at this particular fight, like I said, but I felt like the crowd was so, behind Silva. I think everybody disrespected him for taking the fight. And I'd like to believe that the majority of the people love underdogs. And he obviously was an underdog coming into this, with very little preparation and whatnot.
Plus 300.
Yeah. So I feel like the crowd was like behind him. And even though I wanted to see more out of him, I think I was just glad that at least he finished the 3 rounds and didn't get completely annihilated. So, I give him a lot of respect for taking a fight like that. Granted, I'm sure there was a lot of money involved on his side. I give him credit. But other than that, to me, it was just really a boring night. I didn't see anything really exciting. But again, I think that's because all of us deep down inside wanted 200 to really be Nate and Connor.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because, this card from the onset has changed so from the first announcement to, the last announcement, which was the winner of the main event, Amanda Nunes. There were so many dynamic changes. And one of the things that was brought up while the press conference was going on was, someone asked Dana, do you wish you kept Conor McGregor and Nate on a card now knowing what happened with John? And, I was going to say Don. Yeah, with John Jones. Dana said, listen, in this game, you really don't know what can happen. He was asked that several times throughout the weekend. You really don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. You just hope that everything goes well. And everything was going well up until that Thursday. From a viewpoint of someone in the crowd and at the event, the preliminaries actually set the tone because there was like three knockouts in the first three fights in the preliminaries, which, got the crowd kind of, amped up. Which
is actually more exciting.
yeah, it actually, from I guess, a action standpoint it was. But the star power of the main card, Cain Velasquez, he pretty much dominated in impressive fashion, defeated Travis Brown. The matchup with I can't even remember the match that came after that. I just remember the DC and Anderson Silva bout, and with that, the crowd was really, really behind Anderson, and like you said, the level of respect just went up to this match. Even though he lost, it added another page to his legacy because he came in on short notice, because he gave it his all, and we know that it's hard to believe that Anderson Silva hasn't won a fight since like 2012. I
know.
And he's at the point where there are fewer days ahead of him, and he may be on his last contract. His coaches hoisted him up on his shoulders. The fans cheered him. But on the flip side, you got to look at Daniel Cormier. He'll never be loved by the fans.
No.
Yeah, the key for him to be respected was for him to defeat John Jones, and John took that away from him. He knows it. He feels it. He hates it. And, dare I say, looking at DC, even though he won the fight, he got hurt at the end of the third round. Anderson shot
definitely, yeah. You totally stunned him. It, hit him in the liver. But the loser in all this still is John Jones. Because you got to be a complete idiot, and everybody around you has got to be a complete idiot for that to happen again. And the reality is you only get so many chances. And Dana White was interviewed, and he said, a kid can only get so many chances. He's like, I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want to talk to him about the drug thing or anything else. He's done. And basically, there's so much talent wasted, and this transcends into every sport. I mean, we see it a lot with NFL and, again, like Johnny Manziel and stuff like that. You wonder, you almost just want to walk up to them and shake them and be like, what are you thinking? I mean, the amount of money that John Jones lost in this event is just insane. And no wonder he was crying those big tears and apologizing for how he's been.
But it's just of $8 million. It was upwards of $8 million.
$8 million. I mean, this is crazy. For, a couple rounds, granted, you've been training for several months and all that, but it's like, what are you thinking? Is it all worth it to, piss it away $8 million? It's just nuts. $8 million. I can't even get over it. It's crazy. Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the breakdown is that it would have been a $2.5 million purse with another 2.5 coming in, I think pay-per-view points, which was $5 million. And then there was a 2-year deal, I believe, from a sponsor or an advertiser or something to that degree that would have been $3 million, 2-year, $1.5 million deal, or a 3-year, $1 million deal, which in total would have been $8 million. Plus, you got to throw in some locker room bonuses that are undisclosed. But he screwed up a lot of money. He screwed up another $500,000 plus for Daniel Cormier because they shifted the bout from the main event to the fight, pretty much the fight before,
right,
as opposed to the co-main event. So yeah, you talk about opportunities. He's been given a lot. He's been given what this reminds me of? It almost reminds me of the Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden situation, where
yes,
you have these young guys that are so talented, that have experienced so much at a young age that, you know,
they just take it for granted.
Career, they take it for granted. It couldn't be better said.
They do. And this happens, and like I said, this transcends into so many sports. This happens all the time. We hear athlete upon athlete upon athlete, and you just wonder, you're like, what are you thinking that, you know, but this is, we're on the outside looking in, of course, so it's, you know, it's easier said than done. But for me, you almost have to question the people that are handling their career and say, you know, their job basically is to make sure these people do the right thing, make it to where they're at, not do this, not do that. You know, their PR people, their manager, agent, this, that, and the other. And, you know, they got a whole team of people working for them. And it's like, okay, who screwed up here? And, you know, it's not just one person, it's multiple people for this to come out that, you know, he's got another failed drug test. And it's just, again, it's just so ridiculous. I really believe Dana White is completely done with him. But again, even as boring as this UFC fight was for the viewer at home, I do believe it's more exciting than boxing as of late. You know, it's just, there's just a big difference. You know, there was I actually was at a restaurant earlier before I caught the rest of the UFC at home, and, you know, there was some fights on, and, you know, you just see the people watching the TV and no one's watching the boxing. Everybody's like turned towards UFC. So we can see where the whole trend is going with this. So even though it was boring, it's still more exciting than boxing is of late, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, with boxing, you get the fights few and far between. You got Sean Porter and Keith Thurman a couple of weeks ago, and that was pretty exciting. The ratings did extremely well.
Right.
But then you hear Manny Pacquiao's going to fight. I think he's either going to fight in October or November, and they wanted him to fight Adrian Broner. But Bob Arum said,
oh my gosh.
They said Adrian Broner asked for too much money, which means that there's the consistent inability to put on fights that fans want to see within a respectable amount of time. Like, I understand you want to heat it up and you want it to grow, but while you're doing all that, there are people that are tuning in to, you know, ESPN, watching the highlights of Brock Lesnar, you know, kind of pretty much dominate our country on the mat. They get to see Amanda Nunes break Miesha Tate's nose and knock her out, and they get to see,
you know, Anderson
Silva coming back. It's just, they give you what you want. The fan satisfaction is at an all-time high. Even when, listen, if you reverse the situation, right, John Jones versus DC is the main event, and let's say, for whatever reason, you put, I'm trying to think, let's say Canelo versus, let's say you put Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, which is eventually going to happen in November, right?
Right.
And let's say for that fight card, Sergey Kovalev comes up with a bad drug test and he can't fight, right? There's the whole pay-per-view is canceled.
There's no replacement. There's definitely no replacement.
Yeah, no replacement. It's done. Whereas the UFC, I give them credit for finding someone, and then their administrative team having the ability to tackle all of these things, change production, change the advertisements, change with the networks, all that. They did a hell of a job.
And the show must go on, and they continue it going on. Now, granted, who knows how much money Silva was paid to take this fight? I mean, I am sure Dana White made sure he was compensated greatly for him to take this fight on such short notice, because he knows it's going to really affect the viewers, and canceling that fight altogether would have just been a mess. And even though it wasn't an exciting fight, everybody still was happy to see that somebody stepped up to the plate.
Yes.
And again, there's this huge respect for a fighter who's willing to take a fight on such short amount of time, and like you said, with boxing, that's not something that's going to be able to happen. It just is not going to happen that way. I mean, there's the weight, there's this, there's that. And the same thing with UFC, but in boxing, it's different. I mean, it's a prolonged period of time that you're training. And even though you stay in shape throughout the year, I mean, there's a big difference between getting ready for a 12-round fight or, just training seasonally, but again, they're really not giving the viewers the fights they want to see, i.e. Triple G, Canelo. I mean, how long have we been, itching to see that? And of course, there's excuse, and there's, part of the thing is that promoters are always, getting in the way of things, or they're making excuses. And then, of course, we'll see the fighter say, hey, I really want to fight this person or whatever. And you never know if they're really hiding behind the promoter and saying, oh, it's really my promoter's the bad guy. He's the one that's not letting me take the fight or whatever. But, and I think part of it is they're trying to do the build-up, almost like the Mayweather Pac fight, so that they could just get an insane payday, because they know boxing is not bringing in the pay-per-views that it used to bring, unless it's like a massive fight again, like Manny and Mayweather. So I don't know. It's losing that luster quickly, and unless they make some serious changes, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's just really a dying sport, and that's hard for me to say because I feel like that's such a huge, pastime in America aside from baseball. But this is just a huge sport, and it would really be a shame to see it, kind of fizzle off.
Yeah, and if they keep this up at this rate, boxing will only be shown on Fox Sports 7 and ESPN 39. And on that note, folks, we will be back after these commercial breaks because we have to pay the bills because we don't want the show on Fox Sports 7 leading into these boring-ass boxing matches. This is Brotivation Sports with Steve Creed and Hey Fury. We'll be right back. Let's go, G. Hit the music.
Harrison Paving. Remember that name. Family owned and operated since 1965. Harrison Paving handles subdivision, private roads, driveways, commercial, residential, and ceiling. That's Harrison Paving, where they roll over the competition. Harrison Paving can be reached at 434-636-7283 or 804-706-6163. Email harrison-paving.com. That's Harrison Paving. Stroh-Snyder Chevrolet has an extensive inventory of new and used cars and trucks and SUVs. If you're looking for a quality new or used truck, Stroh-Snyder Chevrolet has the rugged Tahoe as well as the popular Silverado 1500. Stroh-Snyder offers a fantastic selection of vehicles under $15,000. Stop by Stroh-Snyder Chevrolet today, 5200 Oaklawn Boulevard, near Fort Lee. In business since 1966, Stroh-Snyder.
Diesel Concepts has over 35 years of experience repairing and servicing small and medium-sized diesel trucks. Serving all of Petersburg, we are specialists in Duramax repair, Power Stroke, and Cummins repair. We are also Jasper Installation certified. Experienced on all light and medium-duty trucks, we're the professionals for service and repair. We proudly offer performance upgrades to keep your diesel running smoothly. Walk-ins welcome or call 804-733-2055.
With Food Market, asks all brothers and sisters to change your life to Almighty God. Respect our officers of the law. God bless our community and our officers. This message from Abraham and With Food Market. With Food Market, now open 24 hours a day, serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day with free coffee included. Specials include 6 packs of soda, $2.99, a case of fish, chicken, or bacon, $49. With Food Market, 840 East Witt Street, grocery headquarters in Petersburg.
Teeth giving you trouble?
Boy, am I tired of eating soup.
You need to see a good dentist. Richard W. Bates in Colonial Heights. Dr. Bates has been in practice for 28 years, treating all his patients like family. If your needs are simple checkups or major dental work like crowns, implants, or dentures, Dr. Bates can do the job and do it properly. Remember, whatever your dental needs, contact Dr. Richard W. Bates, 3610 Boulevard in Colonial Heights. You may never have to eat soup again.
The Beacon Theater is up and running. The Beacon Theater, Hopewell's entertainment showplace since 1928, is again bringing to Hopewell and the Tri-Cities performing artists ranked number 1 in the entertainment world. There's no longer any need to travel big distances to see the best. You can see it right here at the newly renovated Beacon Theater, the shining light in the Tri-Cities entertainment world. 401 North Main Street in Hopewell. Call 804-446-3457.
Looking for sports here in the Tri-City area like you haven't heard before? Check me, yours truly, Mike Knox and the Soul in Sports, weekdays 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Radio, 1340 a.m. Hopewell.
Looking for exotic food at reasonable prices? Elephant Thai, the only authentic Thai restaurant in the Tri-Cities, located in the Crossings Shopping Center in Hopewell, is the place for you. Don't like real spicy food? Every meal at Elephant Thai can be customized from no spices to your desired level of spices. Exotic desserts, soft drinks, and alcoholic beverages are also available, including beer from Thailand. Elephant Thai, your spot for an exciting dining experience. Call 458-2885. That's Elephant Thai Restaurant in the Crossings Shopping Center in Hopewell.
At Aria Family Chiropractic, some of our doctors are runners, others are swimmers, and others are tending to families, doing yard chores, and sometimes acting like weekend warriors. We understand if your back is bothering you, even right now. It's possible that the years of playing sports, carrying your kids, gardening, or even sitting at your computer are catching up to you. Aria Family Chiropractic Centers in Colonial Heights, Petersburg, and Richmond may be able to help you and other members of your family live a healthy and pain-free life using only gentle holistic spinal care. So if you don't have time to be a couch potato, call us. Our experienced doctors will uncover the reason you're in pain and treat you with natural solutions to your healthcare problems. Make an appointment at Aria today. Call 804-526-7125. You don't have time to sit around. Most insurance coverage, including Medicare, is accepted. We provide natural solutions for a pain-free life. 804-526-7125. ARIYA Family Chiropractic.com.
Fox Sports Radio 1340.
They're able to step up to the microphone during the hardest of times.
Giving you Tri-City sports.
I live there. That's my home. I'm a homer.
We're the home of the Wizards, the Orioles, the VCU Rams, the Hopewell Blue Devils, March Madness. Welcome home. This is the new Fox Sports Radio 1340.
So, yeah, at the very same bus stop, I saw a guy, and he was like, how long do I have to wait to see a fight between Andre Ward and Sergio Gorbachev? I said, Sergey Kovalov. He said, no, Sergio Gorbachev. But that's how old and that's how out of touch he's thinking about. The 80s was the last time he said, oh, wait, we're back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chief Champ Creed, and I'm back on Brotivation Sports with the First Lady of Brotivation Sports. Introduce yourself again to the fans listening, please.
I am your favorite salami pasty-wearing gal, Ava Fiore from Cleats and Cleavage.
Now, is the salami
always
kosher?
with
That's
the salami.
Is it kosher? Please let our listeners know.
No, it's not kosher. I know it should be, though, right?
All right. Well, speaking of not kosher, you know what's not kosher? I'm the master of segues. It's not kosher for Kevin Durant, in some people's opinion, to sign with the Golden State Warriors, who everyone thinks will probably go like 75-7 next year. But you know, him signing this whole entire summer of NBA free agency was really, really crazy. Salaries were insane because of new money that's being infused, and next year it's going to be the same. But I don't think we've seen such a shift in terms of a seismic shift in terms of the favorite, in terms of the most loved to the most hated, since we've seen LeBron join Miami. Now we have KD joining the Golden State Warriors, the team that eliminated him after he and his team had a 3-1 lead. This type of thing ruffled a lot of feathers with everyone. So let me know, what was your initial thoughts once you heard Kevin Durant sign with the Golden State Warriors?
Well, I'm sure the person who had the most to say about it was Westbrook. But I'm sure he was seething, you know, and there were so many funny things going around the internet about it. But for me, I can't say it was shocking for sure. However, I completely understand where he's coming from. And I know people are going to say that there's no loyalty in the sport. There's no loyalty. Listen, the reality is there's no loyalty in anything in that business, you know, and you got to look out for yourself. And even though he could have gotten paid buku dollars at any team that wanted, I mean, everybody obviously wants KD, but the reality is he's chasing after the ring, and he has a right to do that. He has a right to go to a team that's going to offer him better chances at getting the ring. Not that Oklahoma doesn't have or didn't have a fair chance at it, but the reality is he wants to go, and he wants to play at a team that he knows can guarantee him most likely a ring. So I don't really fault him for that. I do think it was shocking. I thought it was kind of funny again with the burning of the jerseys, but I feel like it was way more shocking the way that LeBron did it when he did it, because I felt like in a way he was just kind of like straight disrespecting them. But I don't know. I don't disagree with what he did at all. I'm sure the Oklahoma fans are really hurt over it, but I absolutely do not disagree with what he did. Your thoughts?
You know, we're in an interesting time. We're around the same age, and we can recall a time where Reggie Miller hated the Knicks, and it was his sole purpose to defeat, embarrass, and destroy the New York Knicks. The same way Michael Jordan felt about the Detroit Pistons, in which eventually he overcame. The same way Isaiah Thomas felt about the Boston Celtics, eventually in which he overcame. And there was a sense of pride about the individual adding to his team and doing those things to get better, to improve, to lift his team above those hurdles. Now, with free agency the way it is, and with some of the young players saying, you know what, I remember how Karl Malone and Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing and John Stockton, I remember how all those guys were ostracized for not getting rings. So what I'm looking to do is I'm going to put myself in a position where I can get my rings early and then go back to trying to lead a team. And that's ultimately what LeBron did, and that worked for him. Kevin Durant is still a relatively young guy. And he's been in Seattle when they were the Sonics, and he's been in Oklahoma, two relatively small mid markets, level markets. Right. As a young man, I just think that I look at him as a man first, making a decision as a man. You have to spread your wings, and you have to go to a new environment for you to grow. I'm pretty sure he maxed out on every opportunity he could as a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder from a business standpoint. Going to the Bay Area creates so many different financial opportunities for him, business opportunities to enhance his brand, and then there's the basketball component of it, which I'll talk about in a minute, but you wanted to jump in and say something.
Well, it's one of the things, it's almost like, Duncan announces retirement. The first thing people are saying are 5-time NBA champion, because that is what really matters on a resume. That's what people remember of your legacy. So if he wants to build one or attempt to build one, I don't blame him, like I said, for trying to chase a ring. I think the more comical part of this whole thing is everybody trying to come out of retirement to get those damn salaries. It's almost like everybody. I mean, the fact that Ray Allen, his agent, reached out to the Cavs nonetheless, and to Golden State nonetheless, and it's almost like comical. I'm thinking about, like, listen, I need to call Phil up and be like, I think I can play for the Knicks. So it's just too much. The amount of money is ungodly. It's so crazy. So for them, it's almost like it's not even about the money anymore. Like you said, it's really about the rings, and that's something that he wants to leave behind. And granted, he's still relatively young, and he's got plenty of years to do that. But so what if he wants to chase it? I think he's golden for doing it. I completely agree with him.
Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, you think he's golden for doing it with your little pun.
Yes, play on words. Just waiting for us to see how long it was going to take for you to get that.
Listen.
Seriously, though, we should just cancel the whole season and just give it to the Golden State Warriors, because that's how ridiculous. The whole damn All-Star team is practically on there. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous at this point. But
I hope Draymond will be there. You heard he got in trouble, right?
Yeah, I did. I heard that. But even at that, they're still, their quality of team is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. They are at a different caliber. And, you got to, LeBron deep down inside is like, damn it. Well, thank God I won the ring this year. He's definitely thinking that. He's definitely like, thank God I won the ring this year. At least he's got that under. So it'll be interesting to see next season. But you never know. Like, listen, stranger things have happened. Sometimes they get so comfortable thinking they have all this talent, and then, or God knows who's going to get injured in the season or in the playoffs, or you never know. So it's still up in the air.
Yeah,
it'll be
because
interesting to see.
They have a lot of firepower, but they don't have a bench. Like, they need to start filling up those.
Yeah.
Hell, don't call Phil. Call Steve Kerr, because they don't have any players. Like, all of their bench players are signed someone else. So from a basketball standpoint, I think that, you put a guy like Kevin Durant on that team, he's going to be averaging at least 125 points, like, per game or something like that. You thought they were playing long ball with threes. Like, this year, they're going to be able to spread out so many offenses. You think they're at a $2 horse.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I just feel that from a basketball standpoint, it created, when we were on break, you said that Floyd Mayweather was a key component because he was polarizing and people hated him and people paid to see him lose. In actuality, people are going to tune in now to see the underdog try to stop the Golden State Warriors. So from a basketball standpoint and a league standpoint, I think that's excellent for the ratings. It's excellent for the game. And, you know, they still have to play for 48 minutes. And when you get to the playoffs, as we can see, anything can happen. So I look at it as a win-win. It's a win for the Golden State Warriors. It's a win for Kevin Durant. It's a win for the NBA ratings, which I'm sure ESPN is happy about. And I think that it's going to be a win for the merchandise of the Golden State Warriors because those jerseys are going to fly out of the store.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big win for anybody who's up for a new contract because just the standard that they're setting is going to be insane. I mean, it's like, you know, I love seeing, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Mozgov. He got like, I can't even remember how much he got. He's definitely not worth that much.
$60 million or something.
Yeah, 3 years or something really crazy. And I'm like, what? I mean, can you just imagine what Curry is going to get? I mean, it's insane. It's so crazy to think now what he has the ability to ask for when it's his turn. I mean, it'll be, for me, I just can't believe that they're able to and this is part of the reason why rings are really pushing it for them because, like I said before, money just becomes such a non-issue at that point. I mean, it's insane. You can't compare it. You can't compare it.
I bet you Steph Curry's going to make so much money. He's going to have every woman in that arena sipping on a straw like that other chick, right?
I know, right? Whatever happened to her? She just kind of fell off the face of the earth. She was hot for a minute. She
didn't. She's doing party appearances and everything. She's getting booking.
No way. I didn't even know. Yeah, she was kind of like, she was really hot there for a minute, and then I didn't kind of hear what happened. You know, I didn't know what happened after that. But yeah, I thought she kind of just fell off the face of the earth, but I'm glad to see she's still milking it. Good for her.
Oh yeah, she fell into
you got to strike while the iron's hot, right?
Damn right. So listen, we're going to be back after the break, and we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about, you know, something that we just can't ignore. It's going on in our country right now. The fact that socio-political stances by athletes has not been popular for quite some time. But Carmelo Anthony made a post that really could be a potential game changer in terms of how athletes ingratiate themselves in the community, into community activism. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth after the break. You are listening to Brotivation Sports on Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM.
E. Alvin Small Funeral Homes and Crematory on the Boulevard in Colonial Heights and on South Crater Road in Petersburg has been family owned and operated since 1952. In your time of need, count on E. Alvin Small Funeral Homes to provide caring, courteous, and professional service. To all the players, family members, coaches, and friends, congratulations from everyone at E. Alvin Small Funeral Homes. Serving our community, call 526-3400.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-430-8233. 800-430-8233. 800-430-8233. That's 800-430-8233.
Boy. Man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. Again, 800-603-9359. Has your health insurance changed, or is it about to change? Are you or did you move to a different state, change jobs, get a divorce, get married, or have a baby? Then you know what? You may qualify for a special health insurance enrollment period for the affordable Obamacare plans. And to find the right plan, you can get free help right now from Health Markets. They'll help you choose the right plan from over 140 different companies, plus help you maximize your Obamacare free government subsidies. Why pay a penny more than you have to for health insurance? Call anytime, day or night, to learn more about the special enrollment period to qualify for Obamacare. Here's our number: 800-608-1830, 800-608-1830, 800-608-1830, 800-608-1830. Not available in all states.
Do you use catheters? At Comfort Medical, we understand your needs. Nobody wants to use a catheter, but because you have to, let us help you make it an easy and virtually pain-free process. At Comfort, we've been a leader in home delivery of medical supplies for years. You know us, and you can trust us. We have hundreds of catheter styles to choose from, and if you're covered by Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters per month at little or no cost to you. We have catheter specialists standing by right now to help you select the best catheter for your unique needs. Call now and speak with a friendly catheter specialist. 800-819-8313, 800-819-8313. Remember, with Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters a month at little or no cost to you. So call right now. 800-819-8313, 800-819-8313, 800-819-8313. That's 800-819-8313.
Fox Sports Radio 1340.
They're able to step up to the microphone during the hardest of times.
Giving you Tri-City sports.
I live there. That's my home. I'm a homer.
We're the home of the Wizards, the Orioles, the VCU Rams, the Hopewell Blue Devils, March Madness. Welcome home. This is the new Fox Sports Radio 1340.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Keith Champ Creed with Ava Fiore, and this is Brotivation Sports Radio. And, you know, a lot of times we try to keep things lighthearted, and we try to keep things to make you feel good during the day. And sometimes sports can serve as a distraction from what you're dealing with as the day-to-day. It can serve as a measure to compare, you know, your life and being the hero of your own personal story. But then sometimes it can call you and beckon you to take inventory of the circumstances that are occurring around you, to the social impact that you as an individual can make, as well as the impact that an athlete can make. And I think at this point in time, you've all heard what Carmelo Anthony posted on Instagram, but if you haven't, I'm going to read it, and this is in quotations. Quote, "First off, let me start off by saying all praise be to the Most High. Secondly, I'm all about rallying, protesting, fighting for our people. Look, I'll even lead the charge by any means necessary. We have to be smart about what we're doing, though. We need to steer our anger in the right direction. The system is broken, point blank, period. It's been this way forever. Martin Luther King marched, Malcolm X rebelled, Muhammad Ali literally fought for us. Our anger should be towards the system. If the system doesn't change, we will continue to turn on the TVs and see the same thing. We have to put the pressure on the people in charge in order to get this thing we call justice right. A march doesn't work. We've tried that. I tried that. A couple of social media posts, tweet/tweet doesn't work. We've all tried that. That didn't work. Shooting 11 cops and killing 5 will not work. While I don't have a solution, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't have a solution, we need to come together more than anything at this time. We need each other. These politicians have to step up and fight for change. I'm calling for all my fellow athletes to step up and take charge. Go to your local officials, leaders, congressmen, assemblymen, assemblywomen, and demand change. There's no more sitting back and being afraid of tackling and addressing political issues anymore. Those days are long gone. We have to step up and take charge. We can't worry about what endorsements we're going to lose or who's going to look at us crazy. I need your voices to be heard. We can demand change. We just have to be willing to. The time is now. I'm all in. Take charge, take action, demand change. Peace, 7. Stay mellow. Hashtag stay mellow. With that being said, on episode 1 of Brotivation Sports, I talked about my trip down to the Muhammad Ali Memorial. And one of the things that I said at that time was that I don't think things will change with athletes because, as Carmelo Anthony eloquently stated, some are in fear to take a stance because they don't want to lose their endorsements. They don't want to lose their sponsors, or, like he said, they don't want to look crazy. Because sometimes being an individual that stands up can be you can appear to be, crazy. But when you have situations as dire as this, and like I mentioned on the show, the way that we're going, that there would be another situation where a police officer would murder an unarmed U.S. citizen. Sadly, that cryptic comment that I made came true, and then there was an entire fallout from it. There was 2 back-to-back. The fallout was then in Dallas with the shooting of several police officers. And where we are right now is a very critical time because, we need to have our public servicemen, in terms of the police, servicemen serve the community. And we need to have justice for those that violate the oath that they take to protect us. They have body cameras. There's rules, there's laws, there's protocol, but it just seems very unfair. And this is coming from, a young, I'm a grown black man in America right now. And I've had my instances and my run-ins with the law, whether, it was something as to randomly walking down a street in New York City and someone saying, hey, you look like the guy, or if it's randomly going down in the New York City subway and having a cop tell you to stand on the side and, frisk you, what have you, stop and frisk, that was going down. That happened to me, But when innocent people lose their lives over what I will say, in most instances, it comes across as amateur police work. That is where I really, really have a problem, because it's not like any of these incidents that occur. It's not like they're in the line of fire. There's so many things going on. And, one guy selling CDs, okay. Right. The other guy in his car, telling him, hey, I am assigned, I have a permit, and it's just, if you're scared, don't sign up for the job.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'll let you go.
No, I agree completely with what you're saying. And I think that it was great of him to voice his opinion and to really call for change, because something does have to change. Obviously, the system is completely screwed up on either side. I mean, it's just a mess. I don't know if you saw the interview with the Dallas police chief where he got on TV and he basically said, stop protesting and start working for us. And he said, we're hiring. So if you don't want this to happen, he said, we'll hire you. We'll make it work. We'll hire you so that you don't have to deal with this in your communities, which was kind of like appalling to me when I saw it, because he was kind of like saying that if you don't want white officers to kill innocent black men, the African-American community needs to become, they need to have more cops on the street policing their own neighborhoods, which I thought it was kind of shocking the way he worded it, especially in a news conference like that. But it's getting to the point, though, where you don't know who you can trust, and it's one of those things you and I talked about the other day where, we it's a slippery slope, but we talked about the Native Americans. The Native Americans in America, they have their own reservation, which is, I'm not saying that there should be segregation by any means, but a lot of them don't leave their reservation and they actually stay on it because they're governed by their own police and their own people, and they feel safer that way. And it's not okay. It's not necessarily acceptable because we should be accepting them and we should treat them fairly still. But the fact that they still feel that way just shows how racism is prevalent in this country. And it's like, for instance, my dad is part Filipino, and he was in the Navy in the 70s, and of course that was after the Vietnam War, and Philippines had nothing to do with the Vietnam War, but everybody referred to my dad as Charlie. Anybody who looked semi-Asian was considered Charlie, basically, you know what I mean? And it was just the racism towards him was so prevalent. And racism is a taught thing. It is a taught notion. It is a taught environment, because you get two kids together, they don't know the difference. This is what we're teaching them. This is what people are transcending to their children. And it's just a shame that it's gone so far that people can't feel safe and people can't trust certain cops and that's not to say that all cops are bad. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to say, oh, she said all cops. That's not what I'm saying. But the reality is what can we realistically do to fix this? And one of the things Carmelo Anthony, I think, was saying is, listen, you guys, there's been marches, there's been protests, there's been this, and nothing's really come of it. So what is the change that we need to make? And I feel that it's gotten so bad that it may not be correctable. Who knows if it's correctable? And it may get to the point like that Dallas police officer said, as awful as that is to say that on TV and kind of say that, the reality is, I'm sure a lot of people in the black community would rather have black policemen, patrol them, and where they can at least feel like, hey, listen, if I'm selling the CD, I'm not going to get shot because they think it's a gun or something, or make an excuse saying that they think it's a gun. Do you know what I mean? So it's getting to that point where it's like, well, what do we really do to fix the problem? I do think that athletes have a right to talk about it. I think that they should not be afraid of their endorsements, but I think there has to be a right time and a right place, and you have to have the right platform to share that. One of the things I discussed with you earlier is I got a lot of heat on my social media page for not talking about it on my social media page. That doesn't mean I don't have opinion. That doesn't mean I don't think that all lives matter here and that it's a shame that any innocent person is being killed, obviously. But, somebody commented and said, well, why can't you do an update about all the shootings that have gone on the past week, the way you do updates on sports? And it's like, listen, I would never be offensive to any of the families that lost a family member or anything like that by, putting whipped cream in my tits and talking about, Black Lives Matter. That's just not the appropriate place or time. And I can't even believe that people would even suggest that. So it's so crazy to think about, how people are kind of pushing the issue. But the reality is everybody should have an opinion in this, but it has to be presented in the right way so that it matters, so that your opinion matters, so that your voice matters. You know what I mean? So, I hope it doesn't get to the point where it starts getting reverted back, but it's getting scary out there. And now I can see why a lot of the Native Americans choose to govern themselves, and they have their own tribal police, and they choose to hang out by themselves and do their own thing because they're like, listen, we're not screwing with you guys. You guys already took everything from us. So now I can kind of understand why. You know what I mean?
And listen, what you're saying isn't too far from what Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about in terms of being able to police our neighborhoods, as well as everyone has the right to do so. It's not so far away from what Malcolm X said in terms of us black people, not just black people policing their neighborhoods, because in white neighborhoods and Latino neighborhoods, just as much as in Italian neighborhoods or Polish neighborhoods, most of the officers that patrol that area live in that area. It's not like you have a bunch of officers coming from, if you're
different
a Chinese officer,
far away. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, only in New York City, you'll find in the Latino and African American community that the people that police those areas don't live in those areas. So that's one tactical approach. And before we go to the break on this, I want to say Carmelo Anthony hit the nail on the head when he said that we have to start with our local officials, because those are the people that respond to you immediately. Your votes do matter, and you can reach out to them because they have offices in your neighborhoods. So that's
and you're putting them in position. You're the one that's voting them in. So if you don't like it, you have to voice your opinion. And I agree with him completely on that. These political people, they have their position they have because we as U.S. citizens have voted them in. So if we want the change, we need to make the change.
Yeah, and for in matters of athletes, too much that is given, much is expected. And this, I just have to say it because I think it's appropriate for this situation. It can be something as an athlete doing something big, like LeBron James, who gave $40 million for scholarships for children in his neighborhood and a couple of neighborhoods across Cleveland to help them continue their education, so that way they can grow up to be lawyers and politicians that can fix some of the problems moving forward in the future. And then it's also providing a boost of because when you see these images on television, you tend to lose faith. You lose faith in the system. You lose faith in the people that are given more than you feel what you're given.
That are given the authority.
Yeah, and I will always say, I really, really appreciate Stephon Marbury for the simple fact, I'm not going too far. Remember when he put those sneakers out that were like for $15, so that way families can, purchase those or whatever, right? And, when he put those sneakers out, I remember it opened. You saw black families, you saw white families, you saw Asian families, you saw Latino families, you saw people from so many different communities that came together, and it turned into a communal thing, and something as small as that helped out a lot of families. And, if it's something that can bring people together and show that they have commonality in the same struggle, I am all for it,
I agree.
I had to bring that up and give props to Stephon Marbury. And moving forward, getting back into the game, we're going to be talking about someone who's getting out of the game, and that someone is Derek Jeter, who is handing in his Player for Life card. This is Brotivation Sports, Fox Sports Radio 1340 AM, and we will be back after the break.
Insurance needs vary from one person to another, and our goal is to give the best possible service to meet the particular insurance needs of our clients. Owen Insurance offers all lines of coverage, including auto, home, boat and motorcycles, business insurance, as well as life and health. Let our experienced agents do a coverage checkup for you and compare with our many companies such as Northern Neck Insurance, Main Street America Group, or The Hartford. At Owen Insurance, professional insurance is our motto and goal. 458-9400.
Yeah, deer are cute. They star in movies and show up as furry toys. But when they ruin your plants, they're not so cute. Get yourself some Ortho Deer Be Gone. Deer Be Gone uses ingredients that deer find downright disgusting. It won't harm them, but the no-stink formula sends them running without smelling horrible to us. Deer Be Gone from Ortho. We don't hurt them, we just chase them. Guaranteed. Learn more about how Deer Be Gone lives up to its name at ortho.com. Use only as directed.
Welcome to Staples. How can I help you?
Hey, Staples guy, how do I know I'm getting the best price on this laptop?
Staples will match our competitors' prices, even if you find it online.
What about this tablet?
Price match guarantee.
And the smartphone?
Yep.
What about these ink cartridges, my chances of winning the lottery, and toner?
Guaranteed, no way guaranteed, guaranteed.
Make on budget happen, make best prices happen. Staples, make more happen. This week at Staples, save up to $170 on select laptops.
Offer ends 6/6/15 in store and online while supplies last. Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online and retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See store or staples.com for details.
The Beacon Theater is up and running. The Beacon Theater, Hopewell's entertainment showplace since 1928, is again bringing to Hopewell and the Tri-Cities performing artists ranked #1 in the entertainment world. There's no longer any need to travel big distances to see the best. You can see it right here at the newly renovated Beacon Theater, the shining light in the Tri-Cities entertainment world. 401 North Main Street in Hopewell. Call 804-446-3457.
E. Alvin Small, Funeral Homes and Crematory on the Boulevard in Colonial Heights and on South Crater Road in Petersburg has been family owned and operated since 1952. In your time of need, count on E. Alvin Small Funeral Homes to provide caring, courteous, and professional service. To all the players, family members, coaches, and friends, congratulations from everyone at E. Alvin Small Funeral Homes, serving our community. Call 526-3400.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-430-8233. 800-430-8233. 800-430-8233. That's 800-430-8233.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. Again, 800-603-9359. Has your health insurance changed, or is it about to change? Are you or did you move to a different state, change jobs, get a divorce, get married, or have a baby? Then you know what? You may qualify for a special health insurance enrollment period for the affordable Obamacare plans. And to find the right plan, you can get free help right now from Health Markets. They'll help you choose the right plan from over 140 different companies, plus help you maximize your Obamacare free government subsidies. Why pay a penny more than you have to for health insurance? Call anytime, day or night, to learn more about the special enrollment period to qualify for Obamacare. Here's our number: 800-608-1830. 800-608-1830. 800-608-1830. 800-608-1830. Not available in all states.
Do you use catheters? At Comfort Medical, we understand your needs. Nobody wants to use a catheter, but because you have to, let us help you make it an easy and virtually pain-free process. At Comfort, we've been a leader in home delivery of medical supplies for years. You know us, and you can trust us. We have hundreds of catheter styles to choose from, and if you're covered by Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters per month at little or no cost to you. We have catheter specialists standing by right now to help you select the best catheter for your unique needs. Call now and speak with a friendly catheter specialist. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. Remember, with Medicare or private insurance, you can get up to 200 catheters a month at little or no cost to you. So call right now. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. That's 800-819-8313.
Fox Sports Radio 1340.
They're able to step up to the microphone during the hardest of times.
Giving you Tri-City sports.
I live there. That's my home. I'm a homer.
We're the home of the Wizards, the Orioles, the VCU Rams, the Hopewell Blue Devils, March Madness. Welcome home. This is the new Fox Sports Radio 1340.
Welcome back. Thank you all for listening to. Oh, wait, no, it's not time to go home yet. How can I forget? We have a segment on Brotivation Sports that I like to call The Game After the Game. Yes, that is the game after the game. This is for all of you out there who follow Brotivation Sports and need a little Brotivation in your love life to point you along the way. And let me start out by saying this. The Brotivation Map of Manhood. From the ages of 18 to 24, you're in training camp. From 25 to 34 is the first quarter. From 35 to 44 is the second quarter. From 45 to 54 is the third. And from 55 to 65, that's the fourth quarter in the clutch when you retire. Now, as a man, by the Brotivation Sports Meter, your most valuable time on this earth is from the middle of the second quarter all the way to the beginning of the fourth, because here in America, that's when you are at your highest level of earning potential. When you are at your highest level of earning potential, you become pretty attractive. The opposite sex loves stability. They love a man who knows his way throughout life. They love a man who knows what he's doing. Isn't that right? Am I telling the truth here?
You're telling the truth. You're telling the truth.
Yeah, see, listen, she's speechless. She doesn't even know what to say, all this Brotivation going through the airwaves. But when we have the Brotivation Game After Game Hall of Fame, there is one man who sits at that table, who has a record that is unblemished and who did everything right. His name is Mr. Derek Jeter. And ladies and gentlemen,
right.
He cashed in his Player for Life card and got married. What's the young lady's name? I can't even remember her name.
Hannah something. She's
Hannah
hot.
something. Yeah, she's
Hannah
hot. She only needs
she's
one
hot.
name. Yeah.
She's so hot. Exactly. She only needs one name.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So our research department, they're still on summer break right now, but Derek Jeter got married. And, one of the things when we decided to talk about this subject was that we looked back, at his body count, and he has a very impressive bedroom resume,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some people put the graphics of his life in the form of his love life in a baseball diamond, but one of the things that was most impressive to me was that you never heard anything scandalous, anything sordid, anything disrespectful or lacking tact that involved this man's name.
It is so true. You never had a crazy ex, and he's dated some crazies. He's dated a handful of crazies, and he's never had any of them come up and say, oh, domestic violence, or oh, he was sleeping around on this and this. Like, they all still love him, and I have a lot of respect for Derek Jeter. He's just the man all the way through. But I believe he actually got married. But he retired in baseball, obviously, so now he says he wants to start a family, which I think he just did it right. He played his cards right. It's crazy because, we had talked about this before, and he came up, obviously he was around when social media was around, but not the same way. The beginning of his career was not driven by social media. So it is very different nowadays, because then you got idiots or other team members or whatever posting stuff, or then again Johnny Manziel posting stuff about him being out at a bar or whatever, and they just don't think. So then they just feel like they need to share their whole life and put it out there, and that's when things really get scrutinized. So it's not to say that he didn't do it, but he did it so greatly, and just went undercover, which is great, which is a great thing about him, and I love it. I mean, I think he's the player ultimate to the extreme, but he just knew how to do everything right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I met the guy. He's very charismatic, shakes everyone's hand, looks them in the eye. It doesn't matter if you're the cook in the back or, you're one of his friends from, the Hall of Fame. He treats everyone the same way with respect. And just on a Mackin level, the way that he played the game and didn't really get too much dirt on his shoulders, I don't think it will ever be duplicated, for the simple fact that now we're in the social media era where a lot of the women are looking for a come-up, and they try to come up and they try to splinter their brands off of the success of the athlete. And that's one thing that I saw that he did. He only dated someone, if it happened to be publicly, someone that was on, like, in the same realm. You know, they may
Which
not
is,
have
I think,
been,
what you should do.
Yeah, they may not have been on the same level, but they were on the same realm. And I don't think that you can do that too much anymore. I mean, you can do it because you see, you know, you look at with Young and Iggy Azalea, we see how that turned out.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
Yeah, and you have so many other athletes that date celebrities, but girls on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, before, they didn't have any opportunity.
They didn't have
to
a
put
platform
themselves.
to get to those athletes, and now those athletes
Exactly.
are scouting out their Instagram, and it's just like a dating service for them. Basically, they're just like, "Ooh, look at that one! Look at that one! This one's DMing this one, But you know, like, all those DMs are traceable, you know, and those girls are screenshotting them and reposting it and just calling out guys. It's like, you got to be nuts to go on Instagram and just start DMing girls dick pics or saying this or come here and let's hang out. You know, I mean, they're just going to get caught. For sure they're going to get caught. It's crazy. But the Iggy thing, that is just nasty. I mean, like, he got his ex pregnant. Like, that's just, I mean, you're engaged. I mean, that's just like, oh, that is so messy. He is the epitome of not knowing how to play the game right. I mean,
not to do, On one end, listen, at the head of the table,
on one end we have
Derek
Peter, the other hand.
And at the front of the sanitation department is Nick Young. Like, two totally different contrasts, two different generations, two different levels of how to play the game. Derek Jeter, he's 42, 44.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
but the reality is everybody may want to bang like Cardi B because she's wild and everybody wants to have fun. But you want to marry an Aisha. That's the reality of it.
Aisha Curry. No, Hannah Davis. That's her name. Hannah Davis. You want to marry Aisha Curry or Hannah?
But no, what I'm saying, I'm just using Aisha because she's just so, like, saintly, basically. But you know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of it. You cannot marry one of these crazy nut jobs because you know it's going to come back and haunt you. Hannah has been very, very quiet about their relationship, which I think is why he probably ended up settling with her, because she's a very private person as well. And he is really, really, really private, which has also helped him in his career keep everything on the DL. So it's interesting to see how it works out when you have somebody like Nick Young on one side and Derek Jeter on the other.
Wait a minute. On the DL, I mean, is that a baseball pun? Are you using those again?
Yes, I sure am. 2 for 2.
Well, listen, folks, we got to wrap this up. But like you said, in terms of the Aisha versus Cardi B dynamic, we're going to talk about that later on further sessions of games after the games, because there is a key to handling this. All women have a particular nature, and you need to know the nature of the beast that you intend to tame. But that's me, Keith Champ Creed, giving you the keys of the Brotivation game. And with the First Lady of Brotivation, please tell them where they can find you.
Ava Fiore from Cleats and Cleavage, IG, Cleats and Cleavage, and avafiore.com.
Oh, and don't expect her to hit you back on Snapchat because she hasn't figured that out yet.
I don't even know how to do it, so don't even be sending me dick pics because I don't even know what I'm looking at.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you soon on the next episode of Brotivation. G, hit the break.